Such a dick.
You know what that sound is? That's the breaking news.
It's not ESPN.
We have breaking news.
Kevin won.
The breaking news is, wait, no one heard it. What?
Kevin won.
Kevin won what?
1 out of 4.
No, the breaking news. Yeah, breaking news.
Kevin won. He should win. He's a 5 handicap.
Yeah, shot 75. It was very good. It was a good day.
Way to go. Let's move on.
Yeah, he always wants to move. He always wants to move on very, very rapidly when you win.
No,
well, when you win, you want to have half of the Q&A
it's much better
done to it. All right, well, that's fine. Well, we have the Golfapalooza on Friday.
We do? Oh, we do. That's right.
Yes, we have the golf. That's a good one, by the way.
I cannot wait for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think we're 20 guys. Well,
Kevin, somebody wants to know, Nick wants to know where your vest is.
Where's the vest?
I don't have it. It was actually a little warmer today, so I did without the vest, just a hoodie. But if it makes it any better,
hoodie rhymes with sissy.
We can throw the hood on like Luke. I am your father. No. All right.
What's going on?
What's going on? Lots been going on since last week. Well, far be it from the hopes of peace in the Middle East, I suppose. That's first and foremost. I think that one of the things that drove the prices of metals down temporarily on the Trump trade was the hope and thought that we would have some resolution and peace in the Middle East. And of course, that has not yet to occur. And I guess one question that I know I got today from a client was, what do you think everything in Syria would do to the markets? And I mean, today we saw on the heels of an equity market that got pounded, or at least it felt like it got pounded. Metals did fairly well. Gold was up very nicely. We recovered almost 70% of what we lost in the last.
Even more. We're back above 2,700 right now. Silver's back above 32.
Yep. Futures are moving now. And look, I think that one of the things that we always said, the dollar was back up a little bit, back over at 106. But we see that the futures are strong, almost at 33 on the futures market for silver, and gold is now we're sitting at just under 27.30 in the futures. So I think it's good. One of the things that I read that was pretty good, and then you can get into the Syria talk. So despite taking a hit after the election, silver stabilized and formed now a double bottom pattern marked by 2 hammer candlesticks, frequent indicators of market bottoms. This potential reversal is unfolding at a key technical juncture, the confluence of the uptrend line established in February and the downtrend line from May, further reinforcing the case for stabilization and a bottoming formation. For the bulls, the next critical step is to drive silver over the overhead resistance at between 32 and 33. It's where we currently sit. That will lead to a market that we can potentially see 35, 40, and beyond.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see 35 by Christmas, the way things are going. And all of a sudden we are in a very bullish technical pattern. And, look, what's happening in the Middle East certainly is reason to think that that's part of it. You also have the managed money who has gone the other way and is going short. You're seeing, in my opinion, what will amount to a squeeze. And we're seeing huge deliveries again off of the LBMA. We're seeing China resume their purchases. And Vince Lancy, someone I respect an awful lot, says that's why he believes we've seen the banks run so fast to cover, is that China is buying an awful lot. In fact, I just saw a statistic right now that they're going out of their way to accumulate metal. 76% of the silver that they are accumulating right now is coming as a direct result of it's called, well, not just doré, but concentrate, mostly concentrate. It's a sludge, and they're bringing it home, buying it directly from the miners.
Refining it there.
Yeah, and they're buying it all from South and Central America and refining it there. Right now, we have silver in China off the Shanghai Metals Exchange going for close today at just under $34, $33.91.
US.
Yes,
US dollars, right?
Yeah. So the premium in Shanghai is
like an 8%, right there.
Yep. And I would not be surprised to see an awful lot of short covering, pushing the price up exponentially as we head into Christmas.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, because I thought it was, I mean, I took it as a little bit comical. I know it wasn't meant to be, but the piece I sent you from Michael Saylor on basically what he was saying was everybody should be, or the government should be, selling all of our gold and purchasing every bit of it in Bitcoin and making Bitcoin the reserve asset.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you expect the guy to say? He's leveraged his entire
Right.
company.
When you have 459,000 Bitcoins and he wants the United States to sell all the gold and take a 25% stake in Bitcoin, he said that's how we'll retake the world as a global powerhouse, which I don't think that's the way that we retake the world as a global powerhouse. No. by Bitcoin. So I thought it was entertaining at best.
You know, I think it's silly when the rest of the world is showing you that gold is still viewed as money, and that's kind of what I think is happening right now. Is that the world here in the United States, it's all about crypto, and
for now,
instant gratification. Yeah. You know, I mean, look at the S&P as an example. Gold's up 30% for the year. The S&P's up 28%. So traditional assets, gold is winning. But it's not crypto, and it doesn't have the very intoxicating, dopamine-creating gains that you see in XRP, that you've seen in Bitcoin. But it's also nowhere near as volatile. You don't see the swings, the pullbacks, and you know, this is a risk-on environment right now. Yet the central banks are doing the opposite, and I think you should think about that. You should all think about that when we talk about. Do what they do, not what they say. Everyone's talking Bitcoin, everyone's talking crypto, yet at the same time, the central banks
they're not buying the crypto, they're buying gold.
And how about this new chip? Google just unveiled a new chip called Willow, which it claims takes 5 minutes to solve a problem that would currently take the world's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years to complete.
I don't think I've ever seen
that's what I said.
That many zeros
so
in my life.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 24 zeros after the 10. It takes 10 septillion years to complete. And on a supercomputer,
years, right?
Yes. I mean, it's
that's
before the world was created. And it takes 5 minutes in this new chip. Luke Groman had a really great post on Twitter. He said, can anyone explain why I'm only seeing people raise concerns about the risks to the 2 trillion market cap of Bitcoin from quantum computing, but not to the 18 trillion in total US commercial bank deposits, 40 trillion in retirement assets, or 87 trillion in assets custodied at the DTCC. That's David Rogers' Webb story of
Correct.
the Great Taking. And if you have that kind of computing power, what that is digital is not hackable. I mean, think about that. If it takes 10 septillion years to break a code on the most sophisticated supercomputer we have, and this one takes 5 minutes, I don't think anything digital is safe.
I agree with that. And what on the heels of that, I think one of the other things that we read this week was that the distress in the commercial real estate bond market is still at an all-time high, a sign that the Fed has messed up the economy more than most people even realized. And he went on to say, quote, a wall of maturities is staring borrowers, lenders, and bondholders in the face, all while underlying property performance disappoints, despite attempts by lenders to extend and pretend, kicking the can down the road in the short term to avoid defaults until the Fed Reserve lowers rates enough to bail them out. Their delusions of reprieve may be
But the Federal Reserve cannot lower the back end of the market. They can only lower the overnight federal funds rate. The 10-year Treasury will go the other way. And I find it one of the things that's interesting, and I can't quite figure this out. Go ahead, do it. Here you go.
There you go.
Is I'm seeing rumors, again, I'm not a crypto guy, but I'm seeing rumors of Tether being delisted from Coinbase, and maybe it's just in Europe. I'm not sure, but the point of it is that as Bitcoin has gone up, the 10-year Treasury has fallen from 4.7 to 4.15 or whatnot, and that coincides with the fact that USDT and USDC primarily are backed by US Treasury. So did the Feds work out a deal with Tether and say, listen, here's the deal. You buy treasuries and use that instead of Bitcoin as your reserves, and we will look the other way. I'm not sure. Is it a stopgap? I'm not sure. But yeah, to your point.
But even still, I mean, how can Tether really be a stable coin if it's tied to Bitcoin? How can that be? How could it really be a stable coin if the volatility exists the way it does in Bitcoin?
And I saw a post from my friends at Black Swan Capital, and they said that Tether broke its peg temporarily today or yesterday. And I'm saying it means that it went under $1. Bottom line to me with all of this is, when I was talking to Simon Hunt, he basically said we are in a new tokenization, digitization world, and that is what Trump was brought in for. And I said, well, hold on a second. Do you mean that he's subservient to someone else? And he said, absolutely. Those are names and faces we'll never know. But that what he was brought into was to move everyone into a digital world where you have this digital ID that is tied to your everything. In fact, Bill Gates has all sorts of patents on this related to the digital ID and tying in your banking records and your health records, that they will try and usher it in under the guise of election integrity. You saw the way that this kid was captured, who shot the CEO from United Healthcare. There were cameras everywhere. So now these cameras would have your biometrics. They will know where you are, where you shop. He said everything will be tokenized to the point of receipts. Anything you buy, you own, will all be information, and it'll be financial information as well. But it will also be a surveillance state, and that. He called it a plug your nose trade, that there will be a period of time. And it was interesting. He was only saying into the spring, May or June, but that all profits should go into gold and silver. And this is a guy who really isn't a gold bug. In fact, right now he's all in on XRP, and he says it's a plug your nose trade. And again, I'm not the guy to know, but he's saying, look, you can make an awful lot of money now, but profits and gains should go into what the big boys are doing, that be the central banks. And the central banks are the most knowledgeable traders in the world. They know
no question about it.
So I think when you see them resume, in fact, in October, the amount of gold that the central banks purchased in October was double that of the 12-month average year to date. And so they have resumed their massive buying spree. And, you can call what you want. You can call Trump saying, I'm going to levy 100% tariffs on the Brics nations if they don't do this, this, and this. But that's not a tariff. That is a sanction masquerading as a tariff. And as I've been saying since he did this or said this, this will only double down and reinforce and crystallize the efforts that these Brics nations have. And that the United States, not only are they being forced to take a currency that's being destroyed, to put money into treasuries that are being destroyed in terms of value. We've seen that over the last year and a half, but to do so with a gun to your head. And this is something that I don't think will sit well.
Yeah. Well, I have one of my clients this week called, and he's a pretty active trader in the cryptos, and he was very long XRP. He was very long Hedera, Hashgraph, HBAR, and did extremely well. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was taking his profits out of that and putting them into metals. And I think, he thinks if a good downturn happens, he'll probably buy and trade it again. But that's what he does. He takes, like what we always say, no loss in profits. Take them and put them into something that is actually tangible that you can hold on to.
I'm going to take Deborah's question real quick. I owe one of the primary investors and co-owners, I believe, of Goldbacks. Is a great guy. He's a client of mine. I owe him a phone call. These days, the last several days have gone on far longer than I ever would have anticipated. Time management is really very difficult for me. So
that's because you speak a lot and
it's hard.
You kind of just don't answer the question. You create another 5 while you're answering.
Well, I want to be thorough. And John, I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you, brother. If you're watching, I promise you I will. And he's someone who I will listen to, and perhaps I've been wrong on my views on Goldbacks. I'm going to listen and see if it's something that Miles Franklin should carry. I know they were just released here in Florida, so it is something that.
Did you say John? Because look at this, John, J. I'm with John and John. Someone wants to know inventory levels.
So Jay,
No, John.
Where?
John at 803 wants to know the inventory levels, and then
Of-
again at 811, I'm guessing silver.
Inventory levels are pretty good, actually. I mean, I would say what do you think? They're pretty decent, don't you
They
think?
are. I think that we're in a, and you say it all the time, 35 years, we're in a very awkward market. And I think that, when it comes to, and this is one of the things that I had in here to talk about later, but when it comes to the retail metals, we're seeing a fair amount of inventory that hasn't left, and premiums are still, for the most part, at the lower end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It hasn't really changed much. I think that when you come to the larger bars that the central banks are buying, that's where there's a dichotomy between what we're seeing and what the central banks
They're
are seeing.
getting harder, and they're getting harder and harder to come by. You're seeing the exchange for physical premiums go way up. There are players that will buy in the West and deliver in the East, or deliver to Hong Kong, and which in 2015 or 16, they created a Comex contract that was deliverable in Brics, Hong Kong, which is part of the Comex ecosystem. And those premiums are going way up. There's a premium on these bars. And to see, for example, if you look at during right after the election, when the price fell as it did, obviously, don't have to tell any of you that, but we saw 5.5 million ounces of silver leave in the month of November out of the LBMA, physical silver. Their inventories are declining. Who knows how much stock we can put into the numbers issued by Comex and the LBMA, but we're seeing deliveries continue, and I don't think that ends. This is the top of the food chain, and the ability to naked short to the degree that, and in this market, if you're naked short, you're absolutely stupid, because from every standpoint, technically, we're back into a very bullish technical formation. And I would think that we will see great strength heading into the end of the year. That would be my guess. We can reevaluate this next week and see if I was right, but I do think we will see strength into the end of the year based upon these technical formations.
And I think one of the things that we talked about when we were playing golf, I think that was one of the day that I beat you, just to bring it up again. But we were talking about that we got a little busy pre-Trump, the election. And I think that what we're seeing now is a lot of it is we now have a president-elect Republican. We have the House, the Senate, also Republican. I think a lot of the fear, the worry of the liberal control is what took some of the wind out of the sails for the metals, temporarily at least. Again, and I think that it's definitely something that I've said to a bunch of clients. It's very presumptuous for us to think that as great as we think Trump is, one individual, one administration, 4 years is going to solve all of our problems.
And the midterms are in 2 years.
Yeah.
So whatever he does, he's going to have to move very, very quickly. And that's something, that's why I've used the analogy of Shawshank Redemption, crawling through a tunnel 2 miles long of shit to get to the other end.
Yeah.
The Congressional Budget Office tells us that, even with a balanced budget by 2030, end of 2030 into 2031, 100% of income tax revenue goes just to pay the interest on the debt and the mandatory entitlements. So, Elon and Vivek can cut $2 trillion right off the top. That'd be great. It's a good place to stop. It doesn't change the problem. He will leave with a $36 trillion debt on those numbers, coming in with a $41 trillion debt, coming in with almost a $37 trillion debt. The debt increased so far. Just recently, it has increased to a level that I think is ridiculous. It's up to 36.17 trillion. It's up $1 trillion over the last 105 days. But Simon Hunt was saying now it's even increased to every 81 days. So look, the bottom line is the debt. That is the one word why there is no easy way out of it. Whether Trump is a Trojan horse or riding the horse, whether he is actually trying to usher in a digital system and reset the system orderly, or whether or not the system he's incentivizing the world to continue to do the things that we've done by putting these ridiculous tariffs, which are actually sanctions on these countries, incentivizing them to move the other way, to dump treasuries, to dump dollars, to settle in local currencies, and to net settle any differences in gold, which really is what they're doing. And it's basically the basis of the unit token, which mBridge and the unit token will continue. I can guarantee you that. So look, the bottom line with all of this is there's no easy way out of it, whether it be a inflation, hyperinflation scenario, or he comes to us after a few months. Oh, hello. He comes to us after a few months and he says, hey,
I don't know.
Hey.
I'm having a little bit of just hold on. We're having a little technical difficulty here. Hold on.
Way to go.
It's not me.
Maybe you should just hold it.
Hold on.
Here we can.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, now go down. Hello.
All right. So, or whether or not he comes to us and said, look, we've done our job. We've trimmed all the fat we can. We've tried to, get integrity back into our institutions. But now you're going to all have to do your part. We're going to bring back our manufacturing base. We're going to close military bases. We're going to do all of these things to onshore productivity. That ushers in a depression, and the inability to service debt ushers in a default. What better way to usher in a default or a reset than to bring the guy at the helm whose cabinet will inspire unity, hopefully, and patriotism and the American spirit, and then the guy who's famous for restructuring and bankruptcy. Yep. I mean, part of me can see it either way. Either way, you don't get to the other side without crawling through the tube, whether it is easy or not. Yeah. I think let's not lose sight of that.
And one of the things with regard to inventory, we will definitely, as always, we will keep our eyes on Germany, which historically has been one of the big coin and bar markets for silver. So we'll see. They've had a couple last few years, they struggled. So we'll see what 25 brings for them, and then we should probably have a good idea of
you would think
how
they
we
would
shape
be
up.
Voraciously accumulating gold. Their economy is getting destroyed.
Yeah, well, big buyers of the coin and bars for silver in Germany. So we'll see how that shapes up in 25 for them, and we'll probably follow suit with there. So, all right, we have Deborah with the goldbacks. We answered this, I think, last year.
That one.
You good product for use of bartending. I don't know about bartending, depending on how you're going to give change. All right, let's see. Bartering. Well, I can't see.
That's
where's that rag? How much the?
Someone asked. Let me talk about. Someone asked about my good friend Bill Holter, TRX. I knew Jim Sinclair very well. God rest his soul. And Bill Holter is one of my dear friends, and he'll be on the show here very soon. Actually, he believes very strongly in TRX. I own some TRX, Tanzanian royalty company, I believe is the name of it. And I'll be honest, I bought it because of my relationship with Jim and Bill. I trust Bill as a brother. I trust him with my life. He believes in it very, very strongly. Look, mining shares are very speculative. Mining shares offer exponential upside potential, but they should never be confused with the real thing. And even major producers right now are lagging where they should be. So just be mindful of allocations. Don't invert your pyramid. The mining shares should be in everyone's portfolio, but belong up on the top 10% of the financial pyramid, right there with cryptocurrencies, risky assets that have tremendous upside potential, not the boring physical gold or silver, or even, as much as I hate to say this, very, very, very short-term treasuries, something that has less risk with very muted upside.
Do you have an actual schedule for Nomi Prince?
Yeah, Nomi is coming on.
That would be interesting considering that you just talked about Gates.
Yeah, she's coming on November or December 18th.
Oh,
December 18th.
Nomi's coming tomorrow.
On. And I have to prepare for that. She did a presentation on.
That was unbelievable.
I think, did I send that?
We watched it together.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying when you mentioned Bill Gates.
Yeah.
We're going to do Bill Gates, Visa. We want to go over the whole thing.
She was even able to get a Freedom of Information Act memorandum that was never meant to be circulated by the IRS, who came out and said, as it pertains to the CBDC, which has been developed by MIT and Boston Fed and Lael Brainerd, that even though it's not meant for this, yes, we can see how this could be used in a in a way to penalize the individual, either by freezing their account or their access to money, or even in some cases, actually deducting money out of their account if they owed back taxes or owed child support or whatever it is. And this is kind of what Simon Hunt is saying, that we are moving into a world that will be tokenized and digital, and that is what this administration, this crypto administration, has been brought in to do, implying that he was selected, not elected. And it's hard to hear that, but it's intriguing when you listen to it. That little by little that I did is posted. I believe you can listen to it where he talks about it. It's very, very interesting. But he said, mark my words, they will come to you and tell you in the name of election integrity, you need to take this digital ID, and they will be able to track your every single move, wherever you are, what store you, everywhere there are cameras, you're tracked on facial recognition. And that is the beginnings, perhaps, of a social credit score type of environment. As freaky and dystopian and Black Mirror as it sounds, he's very convincing in his arguments.
Well, it's kind of ironic that we had the nominee for Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, who is actually a very big gold bug.
Yeah.
So on the heels of everything that's going on with the crypto market. So John wants to know how many ounces of Bitcoin are in a cruise missile.
Well, there's a video that my dad said you must watch. And I looked at it a little bit, and it's on the Oreshnik, ORESHNIK missile. This thing goes Mach 10. It has 6 warheads on it. It cannot be evaded, and it's scary as shit.
But it doesn't have any Bitcoin in it.
Probably not. It probably has an awful lot of silver. But then
6 warheads.
6 warheads, but
Yeah.
it goes Mach 10. That's faster than you can even contemplate. And
yeah,
you have Biden and this administration that's doing all they can to bring us towards war with Russia. And let's just hope that Trump has a direct line to Putin, and cooler heads can prevail. But the things that we are doing, again, giving more money to the Ukraine and positioning what they're even saying is potentially positioning nuclear warheads in Ukraine, is about the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Richard wants to know if we can get together with the other metals dealers and buy everything on the Comex to collapse it. It's only a few billion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thought. Long before they would allow that to happen, I suppose you could say it's the same thing as a default, but they would, because everything is so rehypothecated, there are rules in the exchange that allows them to cash settle, which is the same thing as a default. It's force majeure. Now, it's different on the LBMA, which isn't an exchange; it's the over-the-counter, peer-to-peer. But on the Comex, there are rules in place to stop that. But no, I mean, there's not enough coordination involved, and the amount of capital that would have to be deployed is pretty significant.
Okay. You want to take that one?
So look, you're going to lose silver. The argument I can make for doing it is that the premiums on the coins are as low as you'll see them probably ever.
Usually comes out to be roughly around a 12% reduction in metal.
Yeah.
Is usually what we see.
You
somewhere
see,
around there.
And the bid prices are relatively low right now, except on Silver Eagles, really, in the silver world. There were a lot of dealers that were really, really hurt by the change in sentiment that happened roughly around this time last year, where everyone focused on AI, on NVIDIA, on tech like Apple, on Bitcoin, on
the major equities, the major tech equities.
Yeah. And so that came at the expense of the retail market here to a degree. But when the price or the demand collapsed, so did the premiums. The premiums cannot be hedged. Only the metal content did. And so there is a wide gap between buy and sell. Look, when we do a deal like that, we do it in a way that probably most companies don't. First, we don't make any money in buying your silver. Whatever the highest bid price is in the nation, you get it. And secondly, we use the same silver spot price, which has had a pretty large bid-ask spread between buy and sell just on Comex, just on the silver spot price.
Just about 1 to 1.5% most of the time.
We'll use the same price for both sides of the transaction, which, it's going to save you 1 to 1.5%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could make the argument for it. What's more important, number of ounces or the ability to utilize them? You could argue they're both important. If you can make that trade at an equitable,
well, your mentor always used to say,
it's the number of ounces that
Right.
matter. But I've been
you're
this.
a silver eagle bug.
I've been doing this long enough to know that that's true to an extent, but so too is utility. And look at the price of junk silver, dimes and quarters, for the entire 3.5 years from 2020 to mid 2023 during the pandemic. Premiums were $10, $11, $12. Yeah. And the buy price would have been north of $11.
Yeah.
So the utility is something people focus on. You know, liquidity is very important. You can have the greatest thing in the world, but if it lacks demand, well, that's, especially when you need it, that puts you behind the eight ball.
Which is one of the reasons why, you know, when we get called on those numismatics that, you know, you always say you love the numismatics, but those are definitely driven more towards the collectability of the coin as opposed to the actual metal of the coin.
That's pretty much the definition of numismatic,
so,
value in and above melt content. It's a collectible. If you can get them at a range where you're not paying too much, great. The modern collectibles to me is lipstick on a pig. I wouldn't buy anything MS69 or 70 brand new. I just wouldn't. The dealers laugh at that. And I did a speech with one of the founding owners of PCGS, who more or less said it's silly, but they make so much money in the dealers sending them in. They're not going to say anything about it. The whole concept of first strike or early release is a bunch of horseshit. And
by the way, if you're one that has gotten in your IRAs or from any of these companies that you've purchased all these modern day proof coins, definitely give us a call. Because that's one of the things that we've been noticing a lot. Unfortunately, where a lot of your hard-earned money is going towards these modern day proof coins where there's no way in the world. I told you I had that one client that his dad got taken by a company that they charged him for a
four-piece
set, $21,000.
The Reagan set. I have a few of those Reagan coins that I bought from a client a long time. It's his son.
$21,000.
It was Reagan's son who signed, and they just printed.
That's it
on the PCGS holder. Reagan set. I mean, it's marketing gimmick.
I know. It's the same marketing gimmick as the 10% back in silver. I mean,
that's the worst.
Think about it.
I mean, that's just so stupid. If I made 10%. I would have retired years ago. I mean, we're lucky to make a third of that, literally,
and usually not even the 10%. It's if
that's you're giving them 10%, so
right? Well, that's the whole point. If they're able to give you 10% back in silver, and by the way, we've seen some of these 10% back. You're buying silver at a triple of what the real value is.
Yeah,
so you're not getting 10,000. You're maybe getting 3,000. On $100,000, and they're probably making 50,000 out of that $100,000 for the house.
One thing I can't figure out is how these criminal companies still have good reputations on Trustpilot and the Better Biz. I don't know. I mean, if they're calling people and basically saying, "Okay, fine, here I'll pay up, don't report," or make them say, "I won't report." I don't get it.
I got to be honest. I think that what I've really found is so many people, they don't even open their statements. They don't even know. They bought in thinking that they're buying silver and gold, and I'm good. They bought, and that's it. They see silver and gold going higher. They feel like, I don't need to look. Everything's
Maybe
great.
That's why they focus on IRAs. They figure the older folks just put it away. And this is for my kids anyway. So
and they're able to, you know how they do it. They're able to kind of spin that wheel and make you think that it's actually a tax benefit by seeing that they value it at spot as opposed to the premium. So it's awful. In any case, if you feel like you might have been hoodwinked, give us a call. We'll let you know and see if we can help you out of it.
Let's do Mark Poland. Mark, I do believe that.
We're on
that one right there. I do. I think it's funny because people who are buying crypto are trying to leave the legacy system, yet the stable coins, USDT, USDC, are almost entirely backed, not only by dollars, but mostly by treasuries. And you can see that in the last Bitcoin run up, treasury yield has come down. And so as China and the Brics nations, Russia, Saudi, India, they're all shedding US treasuries, even Japan, and we're supposed to believe that the UK, a broke nation, is buying the debt of an even more broke nation. is just laughable. And Ireland and the Cayman Islands, Jim Willey says that, under the table, the Fed is giving these countries money to buy the treasuries, but you have the stable coins that are backing their issuance of new coins with U.S. treasuries. So yes, as it's ironic, it's kind of really dirty ironic. Everyone thinks they're trying to get out of the legacy system, and yet they're supporting it by buying these crypto coins. And there's one gateway in and one gateway out. And if you don't think that is being surveilled, that's the point. The whole concept of Bitcoin is just changed, and now everyone's holding it. And it was originally designed as a currency, right? Where you pay 5,000 Bitcoin for a slice of pizza way back when. Sure. It's not a currency, and it's held by a very small pool of very wealthy individuals, and they're holding it. And so it has lost its purity. Then you throw into it the ability to issue contracts on Comex and the ETFs and the financialization of it. If I was nervous about its future before, I'm even more nervous of it now, yet it could go a whole hell of a lot higher. It may.
Well, I mean, look, anything in very small quantity, which it does, 21 million Bitcoin, of which probably of that take about 25% away to never be gotten again. So now you're really talking about 15, 16 million coins, only about 2 million left to be mined. And then the rest held by very, very small amount of institutions. So yeah, I mean, that's why when it goes, it can go from, like what we just saw, 30 some odd percent in the last, month? It could be substantial. I mean, look, I own Bitcoin. I have for quite a while, as you know. So I, of course, love seeing it go higher. But that being said, it is not one of my main assets in terms of acquiring. I have it. It's becoming increasingly more difficult, as you could imagine. When we were having the conversation and I was talking to you about it, I think it was last year
30,
at the dip, right? 25, 30. I said, you should maybe buy a little bit more here, just to diversify your asset class. A year later, 4 times.
Well, I was doing an interview with Robert Prechter's company today, Elliott Wave, which is a theory that has held true through, hundreds of years of market behavior, that human emotion drives the markets, and that everything is using Fibonacci and laws that you see through nature.
Yeah.
And that everything moves in waves of 5, and A, B, C, and D, A, B, C, D, and E, I guess. And each wave has 5 fractals. But what they're basically saying is that both the stock market and the crypto market are in wave 5, which is the very top and very near the end of wave 5 in terms of their belief. In other words, that you see a blow off top followed by a collapse. Now, I'm not saying this isn't from me. This is coming from the Elliott Wave guy. So just be careful. It's very difficult to step away from something that's made you so much money. I get it, but people who win are the ones that realize profit is not a 4-letter word. I
mean, look, I've looked at a couple of things. I know back in August, I was doing a little shuffling of the portfolio for the very small equity portfolio that I have, and one of the ones that was on the radar for me was Palantir. And it was, at the time, the market had taken a hit. I looked at Micron, I looked at Palantir, and I just, went with Micron. Palantir, since August 5th, has gone from 21 to yesterday when I woke up, it was 84.
Yeah, so Palantir bought $50 million worth of gold a few years ago, too, as a tech company. I never quite understood that.
But a 400% in 5 months. It's not the way these markets were designed to move and operate. It's not. I mean, back in the day, you saw 7%, 10%.
Richard Russell said 7%, you're a rock star.
Yeah,
and that's
double your money every
problem.
7 years.
We've created a gambling, instant gratification culture. And I guess a lot of people believe that there's just new market dynamics. And I'm not that way. So look, if you don't want to shed your Bitcoin, take some of the profit, buy gold. You walk out of the casino with chips in your pocket. And that to me is the smart way.
And by the way, from 2,700 to 3,000, it's $300, but it's still, you're talking about 12-14%. It's not a bad return.
The higher the number goes, the smaller the percentage to
Correct.
get to these big numbers.
But that's why it's easier. It's always, once we get to the 3,000, then to go to 3,500, it's not such a big deal anymore.
Well, even 3,000 to 4,000.
Right. It's 30%.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal.
Right. But from 1,000 to 3,000 is 300%. So,
right.
And that's Jim Rickards talks
Yeah.
about that all the time. As you go higher, it's easier to reach higher numbers.
No doubt.
And the same thing you could say about Bitcoin on
Yeah.
a percentage basis. So these are all truisms. I don't know. I'm waiting for something to happen. And maybe that's just inherent in my beliefs system. So,
all right. Well, I'm going to let you answer
wish
this
I
one.
wasn't.
How many physical ounces of gold and silver will we need to survive the upcoming crash?
Who the hell knows?
And I guess it depends on what you're looking to do.
And what good is a 100-ounce bar doing you in a crash?
Yeah.
This is kind of the point of having utility. I don't know. That's a tough question. What does your mind's eye see as a crash? I think you would definitely want to be big in utility, pre-65 dimes and quarters, 1 ounce coins, 10th and quarter ounce gold coins, to whatever amount you feel is necessary. There isn't anything, a set protocol or set
As Andy
criteria.
always says, as much as you don't want to have a risk.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bill Holter, actually, I stole that from Bill, and he's right. People say, how much should I buy? Well, whatever amount you don't want to lose, he would say.
Yep.
And he, to a degree, I wouldn't be surprised if he was right in the end.
I'm going to let you answer this because this is the one that you speak of fairly frequently. I don't know how
Operation
many people actually know
Sandman
what Operation
is
Sandman
it's
is.
100+ countries supposedly that have agreed to ditch the dollar and the
This
treasury
is
market.
a rumor. It is a rumor.
Mike Adams, who is one of the smartest guys on the internet, told me about it. And it's interesting that these countries have all agreed in principle to dump the dollar and to dump treasuries.
At a stated date and time.
Yeah.
This is designed to basically take down the entire dollar and our system.
It would bring down the whole system in a matter of moments. And I've kind of, before I knew this from Mike, I talked about it in terms of, weaponizing the dollar and the loss of the petro status and all the countries who would no longer need to hold dollars. If that were the case and everyone dumped, it would be the same thing. But evidently there's a name for it, and it's called Operation Sandman. I don't know if it happens on the 20th. I will tell you this, that I think that commentators that pick a specific date are crazy.
Yeah.
If they hit it, it will be the call of a lifetime. You might as well at the same time buy a lottery ticket because, we live in a world of there are no absolutes. There's just probabilities. The probability of something like that ultimately happening are great. That's why I like the term logarithmic decay. Little by little by little, we've seen divestiture of the dollar. It's down to under 50% right now, 48% in terms of dollar holdings on all the central bank balance sheets. And the countries are selling treasuries. So what happens at that all at once moment? Well, that's Operation Sandman, where bang, they drop it. It would be a religious experience because the concept would be that interest rates would spike to the moon to compensate.
Right.
And that would then bring down
hyperinflation.
Hyperinflation would bring down the banks because they're over leveraged and undercapitalized. The insurance companies, the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market simultaneously collapses everything. And part of me feels that's kind of what Trump is. Is he trying to do that by saying all of these things instead of extending the olive branch? He's saying, if you don't, then we will put 100% tariffs on you. It's not a tariff. It is a sanction. And if that were to happen and everything were to collapse, well, hey guys, we're going to make America great again, but this is what has happened. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to usher in the new system. It's called a central bank digital currency. Could it happen? Yeah. Why not? Will it happen on January 20th? I don't know. I mean, you could make a good movie about it, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. Truth.
Yeah. All right. What is
But I listen and learn. Love you, Kev. Kevin rocks.
Hey, Diesel D's.
Kevin
like
does
that.
rock.
Kevin rocks. I like Diesel D's. I should. Can I be called Diesel D's?
Why not?
I don't know. Sounds good.
You might piss him off, though.
He looks like he's pretty buff.
Yeah, you don't
Diesel
want him
D's.
mad at you.
I don't want him mad at me.
No.
He's got the same hair as Russell.
Does he?
Yeah.
Russell has no hair.
That's why I'm saying they look similar.
There you go.
All right. What do we got? We should talk Let's take a little side break and talk about fantasy, because this was a crazy season.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? You're in.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Did you have anything to do with it?
I had. Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah, I paid.
Yeah.
No, I talked to Josh.
Yeah.
We're in a fantasy football league. I have to give it to him. Andy last year ended up wearing a skirt. He was the absolute.
No, we're not going to show the
We
picture.
can show the picture.
No, we're not going to
Do it on another one.
And I'll show.
No,
and the funny thing is, and let me just say, and the funny thing is,
no.
I'm not. I left the draft, and CBS Sportsline said I had the only A+ rated draft.
Yep, that is true.
Every one of my players got hurt, and every team scored more points against me than anyone else.
I used auto.
Used auto pick.
Auto pick. Yeah, I had the auto, and I came in like 5th. So he came in. I mean, laptop. Analytics, statistics, like he was actually in an NFL draft. It got him nowhere. This year, I will hand it to him that he did very well. Unfortunately, I don't think he won. Another one of our associates.
I'm in the playoffs.
Yes.
I just didn't get most points by about 20 points I had.
Is that a specific win?
Yeah, if you get most points, you get $1,000.
Is that Johnny?
Yeah.
So Johnny Wolf?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Johnny Wolf. You deserve it. You did great. But I don't think Johnny had much to do with it.
He had as much to do with it as you did. It was his son, just like it was your daughter's.
So the question that we're asking Johnny Wolf, are you giving that money to your kids? Right?
I think he should.
Yeah, I think you should give him that plus interest. You should buy him that plus gold. And I, who ended the season at 5-9,
but was sweating. He was going to have to wear the dress. He was sweating.
It is the lowest in standings, along with 2 other teams, 5-9. Still ended up in 7th. No,
because you scored a lot of points.
No, 6th place points.
Well, there's only 6 teams that make the playoffs.
Right. And the reason is because my schedule was the hardest of all of them.
You're full of crap.
Now, listen, I got you want me to read the email that says, absolutely, if I were playing other people's schedules, I would have been 10-4. If I played Rusty and the Sheik schedule, I would have been 10-4.
Listen,
we'll be back here next week, because next week's going to be something special. I don't know if I'm going to be joining next week, but Andy has a very, very special guest next week. You might want to tell him about.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about it, actually.
What are you nervous about?
Who knows?
Are you crazy?
I'm bringing my father on, and we have to tell. He says we have to tell the story of Miles Franklin. He always likes to bring it up. At one point in our career, we were going to close our offices and move into my basement in Minnesota. So for everyone who thinks it's so glamorous owning a precious metals company, it's been fun to be on the other side of busting your hump every single day just to barely get by, which we did for a long time. It's been 35 years I've been doing this. So, you could say we're the American dream. He wants to talk all about it.
So Andy will be on with,
here's the newest member of my family.
Oh, hello, Mila. Hi, Mila.
What do you mean, Mila? That's her name. Again, I get no, hi.
Put the face on the camera.
I get no input.
This is like a little gremlin.
So we got Mila and Milo.
Yeah, we have Milo and Mila.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. I brought this dog over to Kevin's house last night. He has a puppy boy dog. It's not so much
a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, which is about 12 or 14 weeks old now.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. The dog literally surrounded the little puppy in a circle. It fashioned its body into a circle and licked its head and up and down and its neck and its ears for a good 30 minutes. It was the craziest, cutest thing you've ever seen in your life.
He's a good boy. Johnny Wolf, congratulations. You did it. But
Johnny's texting me.
Yeah, he texted me as well. But I am in the playoffs, so now you are my enemy. Just saying.
And actually,
I don't know who I'm playing. You? Him?
You might actually. I think you're playing John. No, yeah, I think you do play John. I'm pretty sure you do. As a matter, because he's number 2 and you're number 6. I'm pretty sure.
So doesn't one play 6?
No,
2 plays 5. 3 plays 4.
Him and Landon, I think, have Landon and Hal have the bye. Streaky and And I think you
talk
play
about that
John.
one on
I'm
here.
pretty sure you play
We
John.
can't talk about the streaks on here.
No, we can't.
No, okay. But John, good luck. And
Do you really
I'm
mean
going to
that,
need
though?
it. No, I want to win. Are you kidding? I want to win. Me and Josh. All right. So we just answered this. How many precious metals would we need to survive a crash? Listen, we don't know what that means. We don't know what a crash is per se right now. We just, and certain things we won't know until we're in it. And chances are by that time, it's probably going to be too late for a lot of the people that don't have them. I think that the landscape that we see now is going to be quite different than what it would be during that time frame.
How about this one? This one's pretty cool. The amount of gold that is not held in the Bank of England or the New York Fed has increased to 78% of global supplies. It used to be at least 55% or better. In other words, basically 1 out of every 2 ounces that the central banks owned in the world were held at the Bank of England, which gives access to the LBMA, and the New York Fed, which gives access to Comex. I've talked a lot about the repatriation of gold. This not only signals the loss of trust of the West, but it speaks to a new system that will be tied to the price of gold. Think of the Brics unit, which they look, the lady who said in principle, Dilma Rousseff, in principle, that this was agreed upon is the former president of Brazil and the head of the New Development Bank. And it wasn't but for the 12th hour shenanigans, which is more or less espionage of the BIS, kind of pulling the rug out from underneath Enbridge. We would see it on a much more operational scale than it is right now. But the point of it is that with all of the accumulation by the central banks, and their numbers have doubled in the month of October, 12-month year-over-year average. So they're back into massively accumulating. China's massively accumulating, but they're all bringing it home. 78% of all of the gold that is in central bank holdings are now within those central bank country borders. That should be a wake-up call to you.
Repatriated.
They're repatriating it. Something is coming with gold. It's the only other tier 1 reserve asset. It's being accumulated hand over fist by the most knowledgeable, well-informed, well-invested traders in the world. And the removal of the counterparty risk of the West is bringing it home. And one of the things that we see happening in China as they are buying these 400-ounce good delivery bars off of the London Metals Exchange is they are rapidly melting them down and fashioning them into kilo bars, just to get them out of the ecosystem, if you will. And the Shanghai Metals Exchange trades exclusively, I do believe, in kilo gold.
Echo Leaf, I just wanted to give a shout out to my boy Milo. So that's my new puppy, Milo.
Looks like a criminal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's from Queens.
He's wearing like
yeah, it's a Queens necklace.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
My dog needs a younger.
Somebody said something about Queens necklace.
And Echo also. Greetings from Idaho. Kevin grew up around Rosedale, Queens. Great lasagna. Yeah. I mean, listen, lasagna, I have to go with Howard Beach. I mean, for me, there was nothing better than having some good eats at Parkside in Corona, which had the absolute best pastry desserts I've ever had in my entire life. Queens is great. I mean,
when's the last time you've been back?
It's been a little while, and
but they still know you. Hey,
yeah,
tattoo.
I mean, listen, there are places in Queens that will never forget me. That is for sure. But nothing's the same. I mean, everything's different, and everything's the same.
The county jail?
No, but there's just certain things there that things are so different, but yet they're the same. I mean, when I grew up, there was no big box stores. We had a place called Austin Street, which is what we named my son Jack's middle name. There you go. 4Q. What is that? 4Q tube. Yeah. Tube. Yeah. From Corona. There you go. So, these are places that mean the world to me. It says Rip, right? I think maybe from the Parkside. Parkside was a big gangster restaurant hangout, but goddamn, it was good. I think I took my wife on her real first date. I think I took her to Sizzler as my first date, but I don't think it was good enough for her. So then I had to take her on a real date. So I think I had to borrow money from my dad to go there. I didn't have enough. They didn't pay me well enough at Haagen-Dazs. But yeah, it was a great place. Just not a great place anymore like Florida. listen, you just went back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's okay to visit,
way.
just not where you'd want to be.
I felt the same way.
But I do have my respect for Queens. I can't show it, but there's my 718. That's it.
And that's not why we call them tattoo, by the way.
No, but that is my homage to Queens. So,
Call me Rourke.
yeah. The plan. On the park side. There you go. So that is it. One of the things that we were talking about earlier with just to get back onto silver and the industrial demand, they were reading today that it looks like 25 is going to eclipse the 700 million ounce for the first time this year in 25. So the photovoltaic demand, Noel, as you know, is increasing. So I think everything is setting the stage for a great 25 for us. All things being equal, I think that silver should continue to do well.
34 to 35 by Christmas is my bet.
That's a good.
Let's go 34.50.
No specific date.
No, let's
right?
go 34.50 by Christmas.
Listen,
that's just a bet. That's not. I'm not projecting.
And by the way, I think that usually I like to always be on the other side of what Andy says.
Why don't you take it?
Because I think that we actually could be north of that. And I think that, listen, we got to 34.75. We were over 35 in the futures market. We're almost at 33 again. Listen, this is a big recovery from what we saw after the Trump trade.
Everyone was saying gold's done.
Yeah. And silver, it's worthless. So clearly we know it's not worthless.
You having a problem?
Yeah, just a little reflux, but that's okay. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're looking out for me. I think that, I know. You don't feed me enough. So I think that we could very easily see the same way as when Bitcoin got over, I'm going to knock you out. The same way as when Bitcoin got over that 65,000 level. What did it take to get to 80? It took nothing. It took maybe a few hours, a couple of days to get over that 80,000 mark. I don't think there's anything different with silver. I think that there's no sell orders really to be spoken of that are sitting in there between 35 and 40. I think most everyone out there is either going to be selling at 35, which they think is the resistance, or they have them more set out there at the 45, 50 level. So that's my take.
Look, when China's going all around the world, buying up 75% of their silver for photovoltaic applications and whatnot, and that just came out. 74% of it is coming from concentrate and doré from the Latin and South America, the Central and South America, the Latin America miners. It disintermediates the market. It doesn't have a material effect on the price, nor does it. It's really somewhat, but it also means it's less than the United States can buy. And I think they're setting things up for a squeeze. And you would have to be as dumb as a mud wall to be short in this market right now. And maybe that's the flip-flop we're seeing by the commercials who knocked it down considerably. That means that they were buying the long contracts that were being sold, they were buying. And it also means that the shorts that they were covering those old shorts, meaning they were buying. And so they're taking the other side of the trade, leaving the managed money short, setting up for a short squeeze. And it's hard to get the bars, and the premiums on the exchange for physical are going much higher. This is all, to me, setting up for what could be a very, very large squeeze of the managed money.
I think that one of the things that I wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about yet, because we're almost on the hour. So I want to thank everyone out there, because I think it was 2 weeks ago we came out and said that we were really looking forward to getting to 30,000 subscribers, and
we did. Thank you
with all your help. We did, and I think, John, where are we now?
Right now we're at 30,387.
All right, so we're now at 30,300 plus. So as promised, Miles Franklin is going to do a giveaway. We are going to do it a week from today. We're going to do it a week from today? Yeah, so we're going to do it a week from today. In order to qualify, you will need to be on the live stream, and you will need to type a comment. I don't care what it is. I don't care how many it is, but you'll at least need, once we go live, to have anything in there. I don't care if it says hi, if it says tattoo, if it says Andy, whatever you want it to say. That is how we are going to, we're not picking. We are doing a random picker. It's called, what's it called? Something Buddy? Tube Buddy. All the names of the comments will be put into the Tube Buddy, and it will spit out a winner. Maybe we'll do a couple giveaways.
I think we also need to send a 10-ounce bar to Jake's Custom Parts. The guy is just incredible. He's everywhere. He's been such a good friend on all of these channels. Jake, I love you, brother. I'm going to send you a 10-ounce bar. Who's the other one? It's his partner, his buddy. Ritter. Alan Ritter, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Alan, send in your
I got hats and shirts.
send in your email address. Your mailing address.
Well, we will do, let's do a couple of giveaways. One will be small. One will
Alan
be the
and,
main,
and Jake, they're
and
each
then-
getting 10-ounce
then
bars.
What, did you decide on what you're going to give away?
I don't. Did we say? I thought we said 100-ounce silver
Was
bar.
it a 100-ounce silver bar? So why don't we do a 100-ounce silver bar, and then for the main winner, and why don't we do a 10-ounce silver bar for a secondary winner? Does that work?
Yeah, but I'm still going to give two 10-ounce
Okay.
bars
So
to
then-
those two guys because
Okay.
I mean, Jake, I appreciate you, brother. I really, really, really do, and I see you everywhere I go, and thank you, brother. So I'll send that out. Put down Jake's Custom Parts, a 10-ounce bar.
Jake, if you email info@milesfranklin, all the information that Andy just asked you for.
Is that
we'll get
your
done.
wife? Is Mix Nuts your wife? Did she just do that? And she just,
No, but she is nuts.
she is kind of a bag of
She's
nuts.
not that mixed, but she is nuts. So what was my main career? I was in finance. My entire life, I was on the other
Is that
side.
before or after prison?
Yeah, it was before. Pre Leavenworth.
He was
No,
the champion of the Leavenworth Golf League.
I actually used to be one. I was at the time the youngest owner operator of a Raymond James branch back on Wall Street, and I sold that early on.
Dummy.
And yeah, no, it wasn't dumb at all. It was, matter of fact, when I sold it was 2 weeks before 9/11.
Oh,
So
smart.
my office was literally right there during it. And yeah, so I am definitely not unhappy with the move that I made. And then, yeah, so finance was back what I did. I was a financial advisor for quite some time. And, you know, one of the reasons that I got into metals to begin with was, you know, after speaking to Andy and really kind of putting together my frustration and what I thought I knew about the equities market, it turned out I knew nothing because all the things that I was taught that I knew that I had understood no longer existed. You know, PEs didn't matter. Value didn't matter. It was just kind of throwing darts, and that was really the only thing that did make a difference. It was like you said, it's a big casino now. It's more of a gambling type environment for me than it is finding value. I mean, look, you know, we have a guy like Warren Buffett who is sitting on the largest cash position he's ever sat on.
420 or 30
billion in cash. I mean, you know, that should tell people something.
He only buys value, you know.
That's it. And by the way, you know, he got to a position of doing that, and clearly with 400 and X amount $billion, he doesn't see much value, which is one of the things I was talking
His father
about.
was a big gold bug, by the
Yeah.
way.
So, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words, Mix
Can you
Nuts.
just get through the questions?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on. Wow. That was she
kinda-
basically just said, shut up and get to it. Not that one. What's your favorite Morgan dollar?
Well, those that would be minted prior to 1904.
Mine are the ones that Andy gives me that I don't have to pay for.
Yeah, 1904 and earlier. So the Morgan dollars were minted from the late 1870s to 1904, and then you
Peace
had World
dollars.
War I in there, and so they went to 1921. There were from 1905 to 1920. There were no dollars made. They started making the Morgan again in 21 for half a year. Those will be less than the pre-04s, and then they made peace from 21 to 36. The pre-04 Morgan dollars, and if it was my favorite, it would be the Carson City Morgan silver dollars, which are very cool.
Oh, here's a good one. So if the price of gold and silver and all commodities are priced at today's insanely inflated dollar, how can this all be rebalanced in the future?
At a much, much, much higher gold price. And so the strong dollar and the suppression has made it very easy for the rest of the world to accumulate, because gold has been at all-time highs against every major currency, and silver for most of them, for a long time, because of the strength of the dollar. And so, yeah, you just have to price it to a much higher level. It's the only way it works. And even going back to, you go back and look at all of the countries that use gold backing the Swiss, even the way that originally the U.S. had pegged it. It's 40% gold backing, just like we're seeing with the Brics. But in order to make that work, the price has to be much, much higher. I did an interview with James Turk. He said, look, that will happen. He's been saying 10,000 forever. I don't know how he came up with that number. James Rickards is saying 27,000, taking the price of gold, or the amount of gold we have at Fort Knox, dividing it by, supposedly, by M1. There are others that say higher. So the only way, and again, only other tier one asset held on central bank balance sheets in the gold revaluation account. Cynthia Loomis from Wyoming is advocating for it, as is the head of the Dutch National Bank. They're all buying it. All the central banks are all repatriating it. We were told it will be the foundation of the unit settlement. How much more do you need to know, other than to know that gold will be part of a new system, and the only way to make it work is to revalue it? There are some who believe, like Tom Luongo, who was on my show, that it will be stair-stepped, up 3, down 2, up 3, down 2, up 3, until it keeps on going. And the Fed has a vested interest in not suppressing it by letting it go higher to re-liquefy their balance sheet. Others are calling for an immediate revaluation. One way or the other, the only way you get people to drink the tainted Kool-Aid is to put a new bowl out there, and a gold bowl at that, have it tied to the price of gold.
So Diesel, his comment is funny how you don't see Andy begging everyone to cash out their Bitcoin and buy gold.
No, we want to know why. I mean, first of all, there are people I respect a lot. Mark Moss, I respect him a lot. Natalie Burnell, I respect her a lot. These are people who have thought-provoking, convincing arguments, and far be it from me to tell them otherwise. I would say, if you want to speculate, you can make an awful lot of money. Just take your winnings, pick a number, 15%. Anytime you get 15% or 20% or whatever that number is above your initial entry, pull it out, put it in gold and silver. Keep doing it. Make the appreciation, but put the winnings aside. How many people talk about, I rode it all the way up and then I rode it all the way down? Why do that? Why not guarantee yourself?
I take it, first of all, people that don't know Andy the way I do, Andy doesn't beg anyone to do anything. He tells you the way he thinks that things should be done, because he's been in the business for so long and he understands it. And I think it's really no different than when I came on board and he said, pay yourself first. So when you pay yourself first. Well, don't let that go away.
Think about it. I mean, how long did we know each other for before you came to work here? A year?
Yeah, a couple. Yeah,
did I ever talk to you about gold even once?
I mean, I think
you came over and my parents were here and we started talking about Bitcoin and gold. But in all the times we played golf and fraternized before
we even mentioned,
I never mentioned. And I don't talk. You ever hear me talking about to anybody?
No.
I mean, and that's the thing.
And the same thing with me. We don't ever. I think even the guys that we play golf with, and we definitely play, and we have friends.
Although I want to show something.
We do have friends that are extremely wealthy people that have, asked both Andy and myself to purchase for them, and I think a lot of it is because of the fact that they tune in and see and hear what Andy has to say.
Some people have seen this though.
Oh my Lord, here we go.
Because it's in all the sky clubs for Delta, and there's a centerfold in here. I'm laying naked on a pile of gold.
Please don't show the centerfold.
But we get a phone call. This company calls me. This is one interview for a magazine. I'm figuring they're going to charge me $10 million. So no, it's free. We want to do it. And we get a phone call from a few people saying, one person said, I'm in Logan Airport in the Sky Lounge and I'm catching up on some reading, took a picture. So, being the nice guy that I am, I did hand out a couple of copies to people at the club, just so they.
That might hurt more than kidney stones.
Yeah.
That might hurt more than kidney stones.
Just a couple.
Yeah, just a piece thing. Yeah. Alice, Let's get off of that and let's get to Alice. Before I understood only the American Eagle silver coins are legal tender. I bought some
Yes, you
silver
can.
that's not legal tender. Can I trade that for silver eagles? Yes, you can trade it for silver eagles, but the American silver eagles are not the only legal tender.
Yeah, you
coin.
could buy
They're
the dimes
only,
and quarters and save money.
those are the only U.S. legal tender, but the other
Some
sovereign
of
coins.
some of the laws say any sovereign mint coin.
Correct.
Some say only U.S. made.
Depending on the state.
To me, if you're going to trade, you're going to lose silver. Best to do it in the pre-65 silver. We can still do the $1.89 overprice on it, and you're going to save as much as $3.50 per ounce or more, whatever the number is. And now you have the utility, and you're going to mitigate the bite, if you will, in what you would have to otherwise
I think that
lose.
the loss on silver will drastically change going from Eagles to pre-65.
Totally.
It'll probably go from a 12, or actually with Eagles, it might even be as high as 15, 16%. You might even be able to do so at under 10%.
And during the pandemic, it was the pre-65 silver was the highest premium stuff we sold.
It was $12
next to Silver
plus.
Eagles.
Yep. And by the way, we couldn't get any more of it. And we do get a lot of requests for dimes only. I don't know if we're still actually taking dimes only. I think now we might just be doing dimes and quarters, but we also have half dollars.
Oh, Mixed Nuts is my buddy Rich. Hey, Rich, how are you, brother?
Oh.
I didn't realize Mixed Nuts was Rich.
All right. Well, you had some nice words to say, so I appreciate that.
He's a good guy.
So
he has a radio show here in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we should go on there. Michael Church, central banks are privately owned in most countries. All roads lead to Switzerland, not Rome.
Yeah, well, Switzerland is the Bank of International Settlement, and Davos, the WHO. And yeah, Switzerland is somewhat of the epicenter, if you will, of finance and of banking. And you're right, it's the central banker's central bank. I agree. They do lead to Switzerland to a large degree, 100%.
There was something I was reading on the Basel III, and I can't seem to find it right now. I don't know what it is. We'll talk. There's some more.
Are there some more questions?
Is the dress picture centerfold? No. I'll get that to everyone.
No, you really don't want to do that. You know, I have the annihilation option.
Nick, what's your trade policy? Premium on each side for rounds, the Eagles, any year? As Andy said, we will not charge you anything to get out of your existing silver, and we'll definitely give you a good deal on whatever
Silver Eagle. Yeah, I mean,
the 189 on the pre-65 is a hell of a deal. You're not going to find that anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yes, you'll get, in most cases, you get premium. Some stuff isn't trading at a premium, and the bid prices are as goofy as I've ever seen in my entire career. And but if you compare us to everyone else, our bid prices are higher than everyone in the country, and that's the truth.
And Unique wants to know, what are the best dimes to purchase? I mean, would you say that the Mercuries? Or
no, the Mercuries are typically too worn. I mean, they're cool because people have never seen them before.
Yeah. If
you can get them not worn.
Which are tough because they won't, like, we don't guarantee the quality.
Well, they're 100+ years old. Like they're from the early 1900s.
Yeah.
So,
but just your standard pre-65 dimes,
which are the Roosevelt.
The Roosevelts, you're just gonna stick to those and don't go with the BUs because there's no reason to pay up for.
Unless you can get them cheap.
Yeah, they're not.
$50 have been really affordable. They usually trade at a big premium. They've been
not so much anymore. Yeah, they're pretty close to it. Sonny, Tucker Carlson just released a very informative video talking with someone that's being tried by the U.S. government, face 190. That's lots of said about Bitcoin.
Well, maybe that's why they're putting him in prison. They don't want him to know. I mean, I don't know if I love Tucker. I don't know if what he's intimating is that it's like the white paper that was written by the NSA, which more or less says that they developed the hashtag. Is it an inside job? Maybe that's what he's insinuating. Not sure.
Yeah.
I'll watch that though. I love Tucker.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about the special, the 2 ounce?
I'll let you do that real quick. Before I do that, I want people to know that we are also the U.S. contact for Glint. If you sign up on Glint, go to the App Store, sign up, download under the referral code, put Andy24. You'll get a free MasterCard sent to you. They did just upload silver to their platform. I love Glint. It's not a substitute for physical metal, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than leaving your money in the banking system. Money that you already have gold and silver in your possession. Great. This is money that you are it's cash. You don't really want to buy more physical. Fine. Open up a Glint account, put Andy24 in there. You can access it, purchase it immediately. You can use your MasterCard.
It is very, very cool and very, very useful. And
I happen to think that the company, the technology, the people behind it are world class.
They are.
And I'm not an easy sale. I go into these things completely skeptical. We were introduced, Jason Cousins and I, by a mutual associate, and I was very skeptical until I met him, his staff. Hi, Andrew, if you're watching, and the technology. It's world class. So if you do download it on the Android or Apple Store, Andy24 as your code, and you will receive a free MasterCard that will be tied to your Glint app.
Yes. All right.
Is there a Glint equivalent in Australia?
No, you can buy it in Australia. You just can't. You can't do the MasterCard. The only place that the MasterCard right now is usable is in the United States and the UK. For now, you can buy it in just about any country that isn't sanctioned. You know, any G7 country, fine. Trump and Biden have sanctioned or threatening to sanction just about every other country that's not G7. But in order to use for the MasterCard, you have to be in one of those two countries for now.
Stargirl Music, you are 1000% correct. There is nothing that gives me greater pleasure than giving away Andy's money. It is quite fun. Maybe we should actually up the giveaway. What do you think? Don't be frightened.
I mean, he usually calls my wife and says, "I think you deserve something nice."
Yes, that I do, and she does. Yeah, but I don't listen. Well, I do.
I say
listen.
it to your wife.
I do listen.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin.
Someone had a question, by the way, before you make another insult at me.
No, I'm not. Kevin and I we've spent days in Europe together while our wives were shopping, and then we sit down at this cafe, and I'm not kidding. The most beautiful women you've ever seen in your life come in. They're sitting all around us, and we're talking.
First of all, we thought we were getting punked because when we got seated, two of the most beautiful young women sat down, and I start right away looking for cameras, and then what do? They put another 4 right next to us, even better looking, which I didn't think was even possible.
Are you seeing this, Kevin?
We're kicking each other under the table, and of course, my wife had to ruin.
Can I show that? Can I show that picture?
Yeah.
So then
we were in Paris.
Yes, and then his wife comes, and
while you and I she was behind me.
Yes.
So I didn't see it coming.
Oh God, I saw it.
Oh, I know you did, and then I saw it because you took the picture.
Yes.
Yeah. We made them sit at another table. Oh yeah. You want me to just show this because this is it.
Is this?
No, that's not the one. This is the one. Look, if I did this, and I go.
That's what I was trying to do.
Hold on, it's in here.
Don't you dare!
No, I have to find it.
Hang on, this is a good one.
Why can't I?
We're sitting amongst these beautiful girls. I'll find it.
No, I got it. Yeah, look.
What was the cafe?
You can't do that.
Yeah, no, that's the one.
But that's not big enough.
No, once you put it up, yeah, look. Now you can. Okay. If you click it, you can. No?
No, I can't. Oh God, it was so funny.
Well, I'll just show my.
They can't see it.
Yeah, they can. They can. It's me with a
beret. Oh God, it looks so nerdy.
It was that she put the beret on from behind me, and all these women that were surrounding us started laughing, and I never felt so horrible. I felt the size of a tattoo.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Are we all done with questions?
I think. There was one question that I didn't see that we didn't ask. Someone wanted to know the best way to transport metals from Australia to the UK, and the only thing that came into my mind was take it with you on a plane.
It's pretty much the only way to do it that I would know. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could do some sort of post because it's the Commonwealth, the Queen, but. Crown Corporation. I'm sure you probably could do something with the UK Post, but I think the safest way is to take it on the airplane with you, declare it if you must. Silver will be a little bit more difficult, but know the laws of where you're going to and what the customs are to come into the UK. If it's 24 karat gold, it will not carry a VAT. Silver will, and I think it's like 13%.
So let's wrap it up, and basically let's get everybody. We will be putting out a bunch of reminders on. Are you okay?
No, the dog's like biting your foot.
Oh,
You don't
no.
even notice it.
I thought you were like
No.
going to do one of those elbow things that you have a problem with most of the time. So a week from today, we'll be doing the giveaway. So we'll be putting some reminders on Twitter. I see your, I see your head. I'll have Jack put some reminders out on Twitter, and we'll get you there. Remember, when you do come on to next week's podcast, you must write a comment. It could be something.
How are we going to pick it?
We're doing the. It's called Tube what? Tube picker or
Tube buddy?
That sounds like
Tube
a
buddy.
porn site.
I know.
Man. I'm
Well,
telling you. You sure
yeah.
that's not a porn
no,
site?
it's Tube. I think it's
Tube Buddy has got to
like
be a porn
no,
site.
it's like YouTube Buddy. Jack's gonna put it on, and we are gonna. That's why you have to leave a comment, because it takes everyone that's on. It goes through all the people that have put a comment, and it randomly picks it.
Okay.
So we can't have just you watching. It needs to be something that you've made a comment on, and you will be eligible for that giveaway. So let's try to get to 40,000 subs
by next week.
Yeah, let's try. Tell your friends, tell your family. We have to. Well, if we can get to 40,000, I'm going to spend more of Andy's money, and we're going to do another giveaway. So we're at 30,500 roughly right now.
No.
Right now we're at 30,395.
Yeah, so we're almost at 30,500.
Yeah.
If we can get 9,500 in the next 7 days, I'll definitely spend some more of his money. No question. No problem. I like doing that.
No,
Hey, you
luck
wouldn't
on
mind that. That's
No,
good.
I wouldn't mind.
So let's do it. Reminder,
Tell your friends.
tell your family, hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you a week from tonight. I will definitely be on there with you and your dad.
We need to do something fabulous coming up, though. We need
Yeah,
to
we do.
really do something fabulous.
We do.
Sure, we're going to Italy.
You know what we should do?
We're going to Italy.
No, I know, but we should take maybe the podcast on Tuesday night and do an on the go. Maybe do a exploratory
What the hell do you mean on the go?
like we'll do it live, but not sitting in your office. We'll go somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're going to go on a field trip?
Yeah. I mean, we could go to one of the vaults.
the Brics will never allow.
No,
that.
not
They
Brics,
might be
but
good.
maybe we can go to the local one here. Maybe we
Ooh,
can go into a
maybe.
little safe
I'll have
and
to ask
do
him
it.
if he'll allow that.
Exactly. We won't.
That's
say
a
where it
great
is.
idea, Kevin.
No, they're not going to want to stay.
At 8:00 at night.
No, but we could do it at a different time then.
That's
And Larry would do it for you anyway.
We'll figure it out.
But we'll figure something out. We'll get something.
Who am I speaking with? Oh yeah, I got Judy Shelton
Ooh,
coming on next
Mixed
week.
Nuts wants us to do it by the pool.
We could do it by the pool.
We did that. We did that on a
Oh,
Twitter.
okay.
On a Twitter.
We could do it out by the pool.
Yeah, we could do it.
No, it's not. We're putting
No, we'll put the lights out there.
Enchanting.
Yeah.
I'm have Judy Shelton on next week,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited about.
And this is probably going to be, we're kind of nearing the end of the year, so things are dying down. So next week might be. Is that going to be our last one for the year on the giveaway or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to take some time off man,
That's
before my head
that's going to be the
explodes.
17th.
It's the 17th. We're taking the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So unless anything happens and Andy and I need to do an emergency broadcast podcast prior to the new year, next week will probably be our last. So let's make it a really good one. And let's see, maybe we might have some other surprises.
Maybe you could sing the Carol Burnett goodbye song next week.
I wonder if Jason will do something on the giveaway too with us. Maybe. Can we ask him? Can we ask him?
When E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen.
Can we ask Jason? See, maybe he wants to in on it.
I could ask the
Yeah.
guy, the owner of Glint or the
Yeah,
CEO.
see if he wants in on it. I think he
We
will.
could do something fabulous.
Yeah. Listen, we have the best listeners. We have the best subscribers. We need to do something good for him. That's what I said.
So I have, just in parting, I have the rest of this week.
Who do you have this week? Who's remaining?
Let's see. Tomorrow.
You doing Mark tomorrow morning?
I think so. I did Sean Kuntz. We're already.
We have Mark Z tomorrow morning.
I have Mario Mineco 64 tomorrow. I have Versan Aljara, who is the Black Swan XRP guy, tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I have Lobo Tigre.
Ooh, I like Lobo Tigre.
He's a master speculator. I have Keith Newmeyer, my good
Ooh,
buddy.
when's Keith?
He's Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh,
I definitely.
and then Friday, we have our Golfapalooza.
Golfapalooza.
Next week, you have
Next
week
week,
I have,
beside David Shekman.
Nomi. You've got the ladies.
Yes, Nomi Prinz is going to be a fascinating one.
Yeah, she's so cool. I have Nomi and Judy, and then Craig Hemke, Turd Ferguson, for those of you, TF Metals Report. Awesome dude.
What's your last interview of the year?
That might be it, I think. Is that it? Craig Hemke, I think, is it.
Well, you got Sarah Westall.
But I have a bunch of other ones.
She's not interviewing Sarah, so.
No.
Yeah, no, Craig.
So Thursday?
2024.
That's it.
Thursday.
Tis it. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for staying up with us.
Yes, you know what? Maybe what we're going to do. John Wolf just texted me a wonderful idea. Before the end of the year, I think we'll bring the golf course to you. We're going to do Closest to the Pin live. What do you think of that?
John, I hate you right now.
I know
Actually,
he does.
do you remember that time?
I do remember.
I know. And you thought
was
you
once.
screamed.
I know. And, you know what I said to you?
What?
I love you being inside of me.
That's disturbing.
I know, but it was this close.
Yeah.
That was the closest you've ever been to a hole in one.
It was. And I was with him when he got a hole in one.
But
It was
I
nauseating.
think that is a wonderful idea. Before the end of the year, we will take everyone out there on the course with us. Maybe for a hole or two. What do you think? I think that would
be fun. It
Yeah.
would be.
Can I come?
And you guys could meet all the people that we talk about all the time on here. So
Oh my gosh, you know what we should do? So,
yeah.
so we're doing a golf tournament.
That's Jana, by the way. That is Andy's wife. That, by the way, she is by far and away the brains behind everything at Miles Franklin. Just so that you know, 1,000%.
Yep.
The brains, the brawn. Behind every good man, there is a way better woman.
Well, that is true. That
Go
wouldn't
ahead,
be.
Sarah.
That wouldn't be who I am.
22nd before we start a golf tournament together.
The 20th, is that's
Sunday, the 22nd.
okay.
We're doing a couple's 8.
We can do some filming.
We can do that. Perfect. So listen, thank you for tuning in once again. Love seeing you here every Tuesday night. Next week, we're doing the giveaway. Tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe, hit that like button, smash it, and make sure you write a comment next week. It's going to be very important. It's going to be, could be $3,400 worth. It could be, if you listen to mine, could be $4,000 by the end of the year.
Wow,
we don't know.
That could be crazy.
We don't know. In any case,
God
we will
bless.
see you next week. Thanks
Peace.
for tuning in.
Thanks, you guys.